Hey everybody, and welcome to an object a day. The the show where we answer the age-old question, why is this stuff in my apartment? So today I have a pretty interesting little collection of things. I don't think we're gonna manage to look through all of them because there's quite a few of them. But these are, well, what are these? First, I gotta say, I'm your host, Dan. If you haven't already, hit like, hit subscribe. We're going to be looking at a lot of cool stuff coming up. And, yeah, so let's go into this. So, we got Dennis the Menace. A lot of Dennis the Menace. And what are these? These are not books, these are individual comics that somebody cut out of a newspaper with scissors. A lot of them. The Dennis the Menace ones have dates on them for the most part, which makes them a lot easier and more convenient to go through. I'm going to move the box away and just kind of put out some of these packets. The prior owner put them all into little plastic sandwich bag things, which has actually done a pretty good job preserving them, because these are, you know, give or take, these are about 60 years old. Some of them are a little bit more than 60 years old, and they're not flaky. They're, they're not perfect white or whatever, but they're pretty nice. And so, yeah, so there's still more bags of this. I think this might be a complete few-year run, but I'm going to have to double check on that. I'm just going to check that the camera looks right. Okay, so there's a lot of glare from the bags, but I am going to take some of them out of the bags in a second or two. So, yeah, so there's a lot of these. And yeah, so some classic Hank Ketchum, Dennis the Menace. These have been getting reprinted, I want to say, by IDW and some nice hardcovers. But nothing is quite the same as looking at some original newspaper, newsprint thingamadoodles. I'm not entirely sure if these are in any kind of order. I only bought this maybe like 2.5 hours ago, give or take. And yeah, so let's look through some of these. I'm going to try to keep them in the order that I received them in, because there may be some rhyme or reason to it. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. So yeah, so Dennis the Menace, I don't know a huge amount about Dennis the Menace. I know it's a very popular comic strip. I want to say it starts in like 1954 or 55. It's a little bit after Peanuts. And it's a lot of like one panel gag cartoons with this one character. And that's not anything new, but the brush and pen work on these is really, really nice. I believe this is all from the run where Ketchum is drawing it himself. Dennis the Menace has been adapted into a cartoon, and I believe it was a cartoon and a few. And I know there's at least one live action movie, because I saw it when I was a kid, and I have odd conflicting memories of it. But yeah, it doesn't take a genius to look at this and, like, this is New Yorker level cartooning. This is like Peter Arno level. He's got kind of that Gene Deitch UPA style thing going on, but he simplifies it to make it more kind of like less abstract and more kind of pop, I guess, for lack of a better word. Like there's more rounded edges and there's a lot less they're not as angular, but at the same time everything's about design. Like if you look at that, that doesn't really look like a human head very much, but you have these very recognizable elements. Hair is huge in cartooning, right? So the fact that Dennis has this very distinctive haircut, every character is, they have their own hair. Um, and hair is also like the most hair is what kind of defines the silhouette of a cartoon character, or even like the public image of a celebrity, right? That's why Warhol wore all those wigs. Uh, Homer Simpson, right? Like if you just draw an outline of Homer Simpson, you can tell that it's Homer Simpson. And I think an outline of Dennis the Menace, you could tell this was Dennis the Menace. Just really fluid cartooning. Now, these gags, are they, is this Shakespeare? No, no, these are some, the gags, like, I'm not gonna compare it to Family Circus because that's just cruel, but if the cartooning wasn't so lively and accomplished, these jokes would not, carry themselves. But that's not what we're here to look at. We're here to look at the pretty pictures, I think, today. And yeah, he's using a lot of the language of cartooning to differentiate and kind of add character to these figures. He's reduced the details that he needs to convey down to a very minimal set of them. You have these, Dad's head is longer, and again, they all have different hair, and, the folds in the bed. I'm not sure I could say either way whether they're accurate to the figure that would theoretically be under this blanket, but it feels right, and also it flows nicely. Like, your eye kind of goes from mom's head, dad's head because his head's a head taller. His nose points you to Dennis, and and then Dennis's teddy bear leads you to the parents' breakfast for whatever. It's it feels good when you're looking through it. I don't know that it means anything. So yeah, we see some toast and some napkins in bed, and they've both got like one of my favorite pieces of comics cartoon shorthand is you draw like the outline of the arm and the torso, like with very minimal line use, and then you continue the pattern of the cloth, and you don't give the pattern any dimension. You just kind of draw it straight. For some reason, that always just looks really good to me. But anyway, yeah, so we're at the toast, and then the lines of the fabric folds bring us down to the floor, right? It says, "Don't get up. I'll just pull up a chair." Um, what a menace. I mean, this is clearly from a very different time. What time would that be exactly? So this is from 1958. Looks like, are these both? No, okay, this one's 56. Okay, so these might not actually be in any kind of order. I might be able to use the IDW reprints to figure out what goes where and put it in chronological order. let's see. And you get these neat little like snippets on the back of these sheets because they are clipped out of newspapers. So just these, and it's never like, it never cleanly just cuts something out on the other side. It's always this unintentional abstract art. Okay, nice little car lot. This guy's got some sass. Dennis is very short. Dennis is like a quarter the height of his parents or any of the adults. That's got to be intentional. And he's just sort of lost in the modern world. And his mouth's kind of open. And his parents seem kind of like sad and ashamed that they've had such an awful child. And parking 75 cents. That seems pretty, I don't know. I don't know what parking was back then. It's the one with the sticky door handles. I don't even know what that means. That sounds kind of inappropriate, but I don't think it is. Okay, yeah, this is like a really nice. This almost reminds me of like Craypox or something like that. Just like all the line lengths. There's a lot of really subtle stuff going on with line density here, and he's just really good with a brush. It looks like a lot of this is a brush, and he's probably drawing it a lot larger than these are. It's easy to swim underwater. It's staying on top that's hard. So I guess this kid's gonna drown. These are, I don't know, maybe I'm just bad at deciphering jokes, but, oh my god, this is 1955. Looks like it's gonna be another practical Christmas. And I can't tell. I think it's supposed to be Dennis talking. The dog's looking up at him. The dog looks kind of like a beatnik. And I guess Dennis is choosing to wear the same overalls for yet another day. He's faced with the eternal recurrence from Nietzsche, and he decides to put on the overalls again. It's kind of funny when they're not, because when the overalls are on him, they're kind of like really baggy. When they're not baggy and he draws it like this, it looks a little like just like a more detailed version of the Mickey Mouse. I don't know, something about that is reminding me of the Mickey Mouse design. And you have good eating at the France restaurant on the back. But yeah, these are fascinating. Hey mom, you know that drawer you couldn't get open? This is 57. They're all over the place in here. It's interesting that there's not any, because like it had to be the same person who cut all of these out of the newspaper, right? Let me check how long this video has been. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna cut it short there and probably make like a part 2 and 3. I'm dead. This has been an object today. We were looking at some newspaper clippings of Dennis the Menace comics by Hank Ketchum from about 55 to 57. And we're probably going to do another episode of that because I want to keep these under 15 minutes. And there's a lot more of these guys. And some peanuts. Even though you can't see it super well in that bag. And what's the other one? There's some Marmaduke. And there's some... no, I guess that's all Marmaduke. Oh, yeah, there's more in the box. There's so many of these, and I think we're going to... This is going to be a fun journey that we can take together. So check out Silver Factory Books and Records in Ballston Spa, New York. It's Instagram at Silver Factory Books. We're selling a lot of crazy stuff. We're making cool videos. We're having live shows, weather permitting. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.